Hello, welcome to another video. This one's been in the making, or I've been waiting to do this one for quite some time. Firstly, I'll have to apologize because I've had a bug. In fact, my wife had it, then my son had it, and then my daughter had it, and then I had it, and it wasn't very nice. So just to explain why I haven't uploaded anything in quite a while. But anyway, what I've got for you today is a collection of 40 years of Star Wars collecting. I'm going to take out not too many things, going to try and keep this reasonably short, and I'm just going to share with you what I think are some of the nicest items in my collection. Some of these I may have shown you before a long time ago, some of which are new, but I'm just going to put them in front of you, and we'll start off with number one. Okay, the first thing I want to share with you is the original I was about to say 1978, but I don't think these were released by Kenner until 1979. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But the first set of die-cast figures, and I remember even as a small boy when the first film came out, I was thinking, oh, these are like grown-up toys because they're made of metal. And there's something about the quality of them. The quality is very, very nice. And if you're lucky enough to have a full set of the first release, they are lovely things to own. They're made of die-cast metal and plastic. But the main thing about them is the build quality, and they're also still today make great display pieces. And these are very, very desirable now. The good time to have bought these would have been just before The Force Awakens came out. You could pick these up relatively cheap for about £7-8 each. Now, for example, a complete TIE Fighter, this is going for £35, £40, £50 in good condition. The one thing that's always missing is the things like the windscreen on the land speeder, the little guys that come out of the back of the TIE Fighter, the pilots. I have those both present with mine. The blockade runner, Tantive 4, Tantive 4 from the Star Destroyer. But if you do come across these in reasonably good condition, it's a lovely thing to own. My favourite of the collection, the first series that was released, is the Y-Wing. I have a soft spot for this one. I don't know why. I think it's mainly because it was quite rare even when the first film came out. I remember my school friend in primary school having one of these. I was thinking, wow, look at that, it's so weird. But it does look, it looks like, an existing ship. It looks like it would function. It looks like something out of World War II, almost like a Japanese Zero with the red markings. I do like it a lot. So anyway, there's the die cast, and I'll just show you number 2 on the list. Okay, number 2 is a Star Wars Helix 1977 pencil case. Now, the thing I like about this is there was a style in the 70s of making things out of a kind of a faux wood, almost like a kind of a weird Bakelite type plastic. And this is one of them. I just show you the top there. You can see what I mean there? It looks like wood, but it's not. It's plastic. They don't make things out of this material anymore, which makes this all the more of a special collector's item. There are quite a few of these available with the sticker missing. This one still has the sticker intact with the classic red and yellow Helix logo, which is very typical of the early products by the English company Helix. I was lucky enough to pick this one up for a very good price, probably about 10 years ago. And this one, although in good condition, was completely empty. So what I've done was I have filled it up with Star Wars, official Star Wars, but recent stuff, but I managed to match it. So I can't claim that these are the original contents, but it's quite nice to kind of restore it to its former glory with some proper Star Wars pencils and erasers and things. But the nice thing about it, this part completely slides off, and then it's a kind of a 2-tier thing going on. So you've got some felt tips on the inside as well. There you go. And I thought it'd be nice to try and fill it up with some retro looking pens and pencils. Anyway, this thing, if it is complete with the original cardboard outer, can go for well over £100. So anyway, that's number 2. That's the Star Wars Helix pencil case. Okay, the next one on the list is number 3, which is Star Wars cosmetic products by the British company Clearo. I featured this a while back. I'm not going to open them on this one because I'm kind of doing this a bit one-handed. But I think these things are extremely important. And there are some people charging silly prices, but if you find a more sensible seller, you can still pick these up for between £10–15 for the soaps. Bubble baths, you're talking a lot more. In fact, there is this character here, Darth Vader. There was his equivalent. There was only 2 available. There was a kind of a goodie and a baddie. There was an R2-D2 with a blue head and a silver body. One went recently in its box for almost £100. So they're kind of, well, I'd have to be extremely lucky to add that one to this collection. But I'm very proud to have these. Some of them are from my childhood. Believe it or not, the R2-D2 is from my childhood, and the C-3PO is a recent addition. But this Darth Vader bubble bath was a stocking filler in 1978, and it just holds so much importance for me, so much nostalgia in these things. And they're getting really rare now, so if you manage to see these, snap them up, because I think these are really quintessential vintage Star Wars products. Okay, the next one on the list are 2 very nice items. One is the hardback Star Wars novelization, and the next one to it is the first release of Star Wars on home video. I do not think that this is the first time it was ever released on VHS. I think that that title belongs to the home rental version. But this was the first time, to the best of my knowledge, it was ever released to buy and to take home. Now, you know, as a kid, that was a pretty amazing thing. I remember when it premiered for the first time in the 80s on British television, and that was a real event. It was up there with kind of Live Aid, at least in my head anyway. And I think that Christmas we had our first videotape recorder, so we managed to capture it. That was pretty special. Now this novelization here, I'll just show you this in a bit more detail. I remember going to the library and hiring this out as a kid. I didn't read it. The first thing I did was go to the center pages, because this novelization was probably the first images I ever saw of Star Wars. These beautiful super glossy color center pages were the first images I saw of Star Wars, before even the you know, the toys or anything. It was just in the library, and I picked it up and I just came across these shots, and I just thought, wow, this looks amazing, this looks amazing. You can get this reasonably cheap with the same photos in, but seeing as this is a hardback and it's a first release, first print, it's pretty special, and I picked this up for a good price. And of course you've got that really beautiful shot which was used so many times in the release of the first film. Anyway, there you go. It's a lovely back. Do you remember when novels used to do that? They used to have the the actual cast and crew. They used to have like the end titles on the back of the book. Bygone age. Anyway, there you go. Right, move.